Good afternoon. Last night, the Bruins, they handed the Preds an L 2-0 over at Bridgestone Arena. But that wasn't the biggest L of the day for the Preds. Their next game is going to be coming up tomorrow night against Montreal. The biggest L of the day, well, that's going to be the Winter Classic uniforms that apparently nobody, at least fan bases, love. Last night, high school football-wise, on the other side, Macaulay beat NBA 28-7 in the D2 AAA championship. Now, the 3A state championship just wrapped up in Chattanooga, and Alcoa defeated East Nashville 45-14. Coming up in about 2 hours, matter of fact, no, about an hour from right now, South Pittsburgh and McKenzie get going in the 1A state championship. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to go visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans. And this is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Happy Friday to you. Beautiful Friday. It's like we landed on the wrong planet today. It feels like summertime again out there. It's not. It's literally.
Yeah, we've been hanging out with Elon Musk. That's what's happened, man.
You think so?
Yeah, we went up to space and came back with SpaceX.
It feels like we're still in space. It's 73 degrees outside. I did not see that coming. Blaine didn't see it coming because we're inside. He has on mirrored sunglasses.
Yeah, well, it is a little sunny right here,
It
man.
is sunny.
I just give the fans something, so they can make sure they see us because they haven't seen us in the last couple of days. So, so hey, we got to have fun with it, right?
Yeah, we both.
Well, actually, these are Kirby's glasses, so I was just giving them a break. They look pretty cool.
Kirby has Ball State logoed sunglasses. Where do you get Ball State sunglasses? You got gear on.
Probably Ball State. So,
man, I used to get
Ball
those.
State, man. What you talking about?
Gear. I don't get anything anymore.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Ball State. Yeah, man. Ball State. You go up there, you become a fan. You went there. Starting a legacy. Your son goes there, so it's kind of cool. So see all the changes and all the up to date gear. Even the Cardinal looks fancier than the back in the day. I'm sure your what is it? The Wolves.
We have a completely different mascot. We were the Indians.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's way different in my world now.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the Ball State up in the corner there.
I think they can see it. We're on Zoom. You can check us out, Zone TV, anywhere that you consume that. Check us out there, or just literally, you can actually come. As Blaine said, you can come see us. We're out and about once again, day 2 at the new T-Mobile store, 3800 Hillsborough Pike. We're here today until 3, and then 3HL will be here today until 6. Daddy's Dogs is outside. It's a hot dog place. Blaine's already staked that out.
Oh, man, I can't wait because I'm starving. I starved myself just to make sure I could eat these hot dogs. Or no, they said one is really big. I'm just trying to figure out which dog I'm going to get.
We switched places today. I had a bowl of lentils and cauliflower. And then I come in, you're
that sounds like something I would be eating, too.
Oh, yes. And then I come in, you're eating a giant bag of barbecue chips.
But from the dogs, the tasty dogs.
And then going to get a hot dog. And I had a bowl of lentils and cauliflower.
Yeah, well, I starved myself. I've been eating all day. All the thing I've had is 2 coffees. Yeah, so, I'm lit right now.
I can't live like
then I'm
that.
trying to, and then I'm about to go eat this. It's the weekend already. It's Friday.
You got start your cheat meals.
Yeah, the cheat meals are in now. It's Already in, man. Yeah, the wife don't know nothing about them.
I love how you always reference her on public radio.
Well, she's at work, so yeah. Mm-hmm.
She has friends though. They can text her.
Oh, they definitely go tell her.
Okay.
They tell her every time. The food there. I cheat at home too, but haven't in a long time though. I try not to buy the snack foods that I'll cheat, whether it's ice cream or honey buns is my go-to. Yeah, and at nighttime, don't have them in the pantry.
You stop buying honey buns.
Yep, I stop and I love honey buns.
Oh, I know.
I don't have anything in the house that resembles a honey bun.
Do you like the honey bun with the clear layer of like varnish on it?
Yes, I like the clear.
White paint
I used to when I was growing up. I thought the white it fooled you. You thought it was the sweeter, sugarier one, but it's really the thinner glaze that is better. Yeah,
You've researched this extensively.
Yeah, I researched because I've eaten them so much. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, honey bun, man. But, I love getting cinnamon rolls for breakfast. The one you just put in the oven, cook them. Oh, man, they're to die for. Yeah, so those are my go-tos.
Is a honey bun really just like a cheap cinnamon roll in a sealed plastic bag? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why do we lie to ourselves? Where did honey bun
They just changed the name and just, hey, we'll figure it out. But, Yeah, yeah. I'll even go for the 25-cent honey bun. Where I still, yeah. 50 cents now. Yeah,
Okay.
They used to be 25 when I first started buying them years ago. So it stuck with me all through childhood to adulthood.
I ate a bowl of cauliflower today, so now we're talking about honey buns.
Can't be eating right, man. It's Friday. It's the weekend, man. It's time to party to the tardy.
All right, well, that starts now for me. It starts now for all of you, hopefully. All right, yesterday was one of those crazy days in sports where it's like, there's really not much going on. It's Thursday. I mean, there were basketball games and college basketball games. And then, like, stuff just starts happening. So there's an NFL game. And Taysom Hill, who, by the way, the Saints are still under contract for like 4 more years.
No, they gave him an extension just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, $40 million over the next 4 years. And his dead cap hit next year is $19 million. So they're going to keep riding this train for a while till they get out of dead cap central.
Yeah.
He threw 4 picks. He's a good gadget player. He's an exciting guy, but he's not an every down quarterback.
No.
And why are they paying him mid-level quarterback money?
Man, I don't know, but he's a great athlete. I think he's good, temporarily when you're talking about in the middle of a game or maybe even for a game. But to think he's going to be potentially a starting quarterback, I think we're past that point. They made a huge mistake, and that's Sean Payton. He had to back him. He backed him before this contract, and now he's added to that to give them cap relief. So I'm interested to see who's going to be their quarterback next year, whether it be a trade, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, or maybe they even draft a guy. They got to get a veteran guy up in there. It's just maybe Bridgewater, or come back, or if he's available.
Jameis.
But, Jameis is coming off an ACL tear. So I think if I was them, I need impact now. They have a good team. They just need somebody to pull the trigger at quarterback. So I had to go with the proven. Just imagine, let's just say Russell Wilson is in at quarterback with the Saints. Him and Sean Payton together. And you can say what you want to say about Russell Wilson as far as his play the last, 4 weeks, but he's still Russell Wilson. He's still got something left, and you don't know how much the fingers bother him or not. But he's still the real deal. And if you're trying to get to that mountaintop, that would be a great option. Aaron Rodgers, of course, too. I think Aaron Rodgers is my favorite, and Russell Wilson's my second favorite. And the reason why is because they kind of model the type of quarterbacks that I want. I want them to be able to run, but I want them to think throw first. And everybody gets that kind of confused, especially with Russell Wilson thinks he's a runner. Well, he runs when he needs to, but he's always thinking to throw the football down the field. So that's why he gets away with all that fake punkman. So, Tyson Hill's not the answer for me. I think he's a good gadget guy. To be honest, he just can throw. I'm going to say this. This is my bad. Cordell Patterson is just as good a player as he is, and gadget guy.
Oh, gosh.
And I bet you Cordell Patterson can throw because I've seen him throw in games just like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Arthur Smith. Yeah. Come to the rescue. You abandoned us. You left us for a head coaching job. So, I don't know if he – and then they gave him that enormous amount of money, Tyson Hill. I don't know. Man, his agent is highway robbery right now.
Yeah.
He's not a potential starting NFL quarterback in this league. It's just, and I like him. I like him a lot.
Sure.
Watch this. Name a starting quarterback that has ever, Kirby, I know you're listening, that has ever run down on kickoffs and made a tackle. A starting NFL quarterback. Name one. And he's done it multiple times and knocked people's heads off. That's what he threw. I think he had his finger was broken or something, like 2 interceptions in. He kept playing. Most quarterbacks like, hey, my finger's messed up. Man, I can't play. This guy, his mindset is linebacker. I want my quarterback's mindset to be finesse. I'll beat you with my brains, not my body and my athleticism. So, that's a huge mistake there. They botched that one.
All right. There's one thing that I can think of that's similar.
I know you finding some guy. I know you are.
If I'm not mistaken,
who?
When Joe Theismann first came into the NFL.
Joe Theismann.
But that's how far I got to go.
It's in the 80s?
No, 70s.
70s?
That he returned some punts. Yes, he did.
Oh, I'm talking about tackling people.
Well, but I mean, if he's the punt returner, he might have been a gunner or something too, but he returned 15 punts as a rookie. But you got to – the point is, I'm making your point. You got to go to 1974
I got you.
to find another guy who did anything like that.
This guy's an aggressive nature. He could play linebacker. I mean, no. He's not the guy. He's not. He's not the starting quarterback. Change of pace. What did he say, Tyson?
14 career tackles for him.
Oh, yeah. This guy, I've seen him run down. I go, oh, get him, Tyson. He can get him. He's an aggressive. His guy's built up too, man.
Oh my gosh!
But did you see him after the game? Do you see his left arm? Yeah, had a whole bunch of bruises all the way up and down his arm. I don't want my quarterback looking like that. That means you didn't get rid of the ball. Everything's about timing. Go look at the history of the NFL. The quarterbacks that throw the football win. Not the running quarterback. The running quarterback gets hurt. That
guy got hurt last night.
Yeah, that's the history.
So then down the road in Memphis. So we're watching that on TV, and it's funny if you wonder how many people are watching Thursday night football, even between those two teams on random Thursday. There's no telling how many million people. It's always like the highest rated show on TV, any NFL game. So then down the road, the Grizzlies had the biggest win in NBA history.
In points.
It's the 75-year anniversary of the NBA. They won by 73 points.
That's
over
almost
OKC.
Impossible.
And with no John Morant, they just did.
Without if not one of the, their best player, but one of the best players in the NBA. He wasn't even out there. Remember, I told you he hurt his knee, man. I think it's a little scary. I think they're a little worried. Hopefully he'll be back pretty soon. But, that's crazy right there. You 73?
They won by 73. They were up by more than that.
Watch this. Kirby. What is the second greatest number of being beat in the NBA? Do you know it? The who?
No. Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 again. That wasn't it.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about differential in points that you beat somebody. Oh, okay. Oh, Kirby, I'm disappointed in you. I thought you had the answer. You're a walking encyclopedia, and you let me down.
I knew you would ask today. You're a why guy. It's 68. I got it because I knew you would ask.
Wow.
68, but you got to go back to 1991. The Cavaliers beat the Heat 148-80 on December 17th, 1991.
I was in college. I was probably at a party to the party. I don't think I remember that. LeBron was on the team? Nope, not 91.
Boy, LeBron.
Not 91.
I
wasn't watching the Cavaliers back there. Did they have Ron Harper at that time? No, he was with the Bulls by then, right?
Surely he was with the Bulls by then. Yeah, I don't have the box score, but I did have.
I don't think who was the best player there in 1991, Kirby. Cavaliers' best player in 91. You were in Ohio. Oh, I know.
Well, they had one of the Paxson brothers, and they had Craig Elo.
Elo was there, but that was when they played Jordan.
Brad Daugherty.
Brad Daugherty was a great player, and then he retired early. Steve Kerr. Oh, no. I got the guy. Who's the sharpshooter guy? Oh, I loved him. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I can't even think of his name. I think he went to Georgia Tech. Number 25, Price.
Oh, Mark Price.
Mark Price.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Thank you for remembering that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that dude was that guy can flat out dribble, shoot. That guy was bad, mamma jamma.
He just happened to play in an era where there were so many other great people still playing that he gets literally. We weren't even thinking. You thought about him. I didn't.
I knew it was a great player they had, and I kept on saying, "Hey, man, this guy is unstoppable. His jump shot was money. As soon as he let it go, it was like he starts running down the court."
Yeah, and that's when if you shot like 4 threes a game, it's like, boy, he's a long distance marksman. Remember that?
Right?
I mean, if a guy shot like 3 3-pointers a game, it's like, wow, whoa.
Yeah, Mark Price. I was a big Mark Price. I love Mark Price.
It's a nice pull there by the hitman. You can pull up and see us again. We're on Hillsborough Road. We are at the T-Mobile store. New, nice place. Look, you're trying to get Christmas shopping done. We're trying to make things easy. You just come by here. And they'll show you all the latest in technology. People love getting the gifts of technology, new phone, but if you need an accessory or anything like that, they've got all that too. This is the spot to get it. They got a great staff. They're always helping people that come in here. This second day we've been here, and they're taking care of their people. They'll take care of you too. And have a hot dog when you come by Daddy's Dogs. Come see 3HL as well. They'll be here from 3 to 6, but we will be here today until 3. And when we come back, it's time to talk Titans with our man Luke Worsham of A to Z Sports. That's next on Blaine and Mickey. The holiday season can be great, right? I mean, we're in it right now. It's a beautiful time of year. There's so much going on. But for those people who are struggling with addiction, it's tough. and you've had social isolation from COVID, and you got a lot of people who are in a lot of trouble out there. We know in Middle Tennessee, we've got people who are dealing with opioid addiction. That's nothing new. But, man, this can be a tough time of year for those folks. That's where my friends at Cedar Recovery come in. And what the folks at Cedar Recovery want you to know is addiction's a treatable disease. Like any other disease, it is completely treatable. So if you know somebody, or if it's you who's struggling with addiction, get help today. You need to call my friends at Cedar Recovery. It doesn't matter if you don't have money. It doesn't matter if you don't have insurance. Seriously, it does not matter. They've got ways to help you. If you don't want to go in because of COVID, you're afraid, they'll see you via telemedicine. And maybe you don't know how far away the closest Cedar Recovery is. They've got 4 locations in Middle Tennessee. Start now. Go to cedarrecovery.com or call them and make an appointment for you or somebody you care about. 615-800-5330. Cedar Recovery addiction treatment that works.
Now, a high school football scoreboard update. Presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office on 1045 The Zone.
Day 2 of state championship weekend in Chattanooga. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. Alcoa takes the 3A state title, a 45-14 final over East Nashville. It's their 7th straight, 20th ever, the most in Tennessee history. Coming up later today, the 1A state championship kicks off at 2 p.m. Central Time. South Pittsburgh and McKenzie go head-to-head from Finley Stadium. Designate a sober game plan. If you've been drinking, don't drive. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Blaine and Mickey, 1045 The Zone. Was that afternoon delight there? What are we doing? What in the world?
It's a
is
Friday
that?
afternoon. You got to enjoy it.
No, okay. I don't think that's what that's about, but okay. Oh, Luke Worsham, welcome in with that song playing. Well, how are you doing, Luke? Hey, we can't hear. Okay, well, we're saying
I was muted.
There you go. Come on, unmute yourself. You didn't want to hear that song, is what it was.
We're how long? We don't really have the Zoom world anymore, but I'm still a novice at this stuff, apparently.
Well, you sat through enough of these with Mike Vrabel. We figured you could just snap your fingers and make this Zoom thing work. Hey, now, he opened with that song. One thing I didn't know about you, but I noticed this last week on your timeline. I guess Stephen Sondheim had passed away, and you put video of you playing the piano and singing. I mean, I know you go to Belmont, but here we go. You're another singer-songwriter in town.
Yes. Well, I don't know about singer. That was mainly my tribute to Stephen Sondheim. Yeah, what people may not know about me is, like, I love football, and that's, like, my thing. But my other thing is I'm hugely into the musical theater, and Stephen Sondheim is basically my hero. I'm looking at my piano right now, and sitting on top, I have a letter that Sondheim wrote me about a year ago because I sent him one with some lyric questions, and he wrote it back and signed it. And so that's one of my most prized possessions now. But, yeah, we lost Sondheim last week, and that was it was sad. But, he left us a great body of work that I think a lot of people probably don't know they're as familiar with as they are. Next week, the Spielberg West Side Story movie comes out. Sondheim wrote the lyrics to West Side Story, so there you go.
See, you just never know about these sports reporters. They're well-rounded individuals. Yeah, for me, it's Gene Simmons. So quite a turn there. But I got to interview him on the show a couple of years ago, and I felt just like you did about Stephen Sondheim. There you go. Luke Worsham, our guest at Luke_Worsham, A to Z Sports, and the No Nonsense podcast. You never get any nonsense from Luke. So let's start with this. When Arthur Smith leaves and Todd Downing takes over, it's basically like, okay, continuity. That's sort of the message that we all took out of that. So let me ask you this. How much continuity have you seen? I know there's injuries. I'll give you all that. How different is this Todd Downing from Arthur Smith?
Well, there's a lot less play action. I think that's the biggest thing that has changed. And the excuse that is often given from Downing and from some players is, well, it's hard to run play action when you're behind the chains and it's 2nd and 12 and 3rd and 12, and we just keep shooting ourselves in the foot, and once we stop doing that, then the play action can happen. That's what they're saying. Well, here's my solution to not having to run play action on 2nd and 12. Why don't you run it on 1st and 10? Like, I think there's a pretty good idea right there. So, like, that's the biggest difference is Arthur Smith knew that Ryan Tannehill is at his best off of play action, and we just haven't really seen that really even when the guys were healthy. Like, even when Henry was still out there and Brown and what we saw of Julio Jones, there wasn't a whole lot of play action to speak of.
You mentioned Ryan Tannehill with his well-documented troubles. If you had to kind of divide it up, these three things, his fault, his surrounding cast's fault, play calling's fault, how would you assign the percentages on that for Ryan Tannehill's issues that he is having?
That's a good question because I think all of them certainly play into it. And I think that I've seen a lot of people feel like they have to pick one or the other. And what I go to is it is not Todd Downing's fault when Tannehill throws the ball straight to Gruger Hill, or when he decided against the Rams that he wanted his first pass of the game to be testing Jalen Ramsey on a quick out. Like, that's not a Todd Downing problem. But what I think Downing perhaps gets some blame for is the lack of play action, like I just talked about, and also just the fact that this offense is not in any kind of discernible rhythm. And maybe they found some of that against the Patriots with all of the rushing success that they had. But Downing plays a role, and also the receivers play a role because, I like Westbrook Akina. I think he's developed into a quality player. I really do. But, Des Fitzpatrick has really, really struggled, and Anthony Firkser has, it's been the great disappearing act of 2021, and those are guys who he's having to rely heavily on. So in terms of percentage, I'm going to put like 45% on Tannehill just because he is the quarterback and he needs to get the job done. And then I'll put 30 on the weapons, so that gets us to 75, and so then we can put 25 on Todd Downing.
There you go, Luke Worsham breaking it down. Normally this is Buck Rising spot, but we upgraded today with Luke Worsham. So this spot always brought to you by our friends at Two Rivers Ford, home of the non-commissioned sales people, even though we got our guy Luke filling in today right here on Blaine and Mickey.
I cannot hear anything from you
Hey, I
guys
think your mic
again.
died. There we go.
Yeah, Kirby. I'm sorry about
All
that.
right, fresh mic. Here we
Can you
go.
hear me
Here we
now,
go,
Luke?
Luke. Yeah.
Yes, got you, Blaine.
All right. Who do you think is going to come off of IR, or who's been injured, hasn't been playing, that has a possibility, you think, and will play? Because until these guys get healthy, then will you get in rhythm and the flow, whether you're on offense or defense. So they're not going to come back and pick right back up where they left off. That just doesn't work like that. So how soon can some of these guys be back, do you think?
Yeah, so I think the big news is that Julio Jones is now eligible to come off of injured reserve. He sat out the 3 games. The bye week is sort of the 4th week since he's played. Now, we don't know what his status is, but he is eligible, and it has been a month since he sat out. So, perhaps we could see Julio Jones return. They could certainly use it, especially with A.J. Brown out. You could see Nate Davis back, maybe Jeremy McNichols too. Both of those guys are in concussion protocol. So, that is sort of its own beast. But then defensively, I think the big name you could potentially get back is David Long, who played like, a bullet shot out of a gun when he was playing before he went down. But he's been out for like a month now. He's not on IR. He's just been hanging out on the active roster. But because he's not on IR, he can come back whenever. And you would think having this extra week of rest, the fact that he's already been out as long as he has, that he's someone we could see back. Rashaan Evans in a similar situation. And also Tier Tart. He's someone who has missed the last couple of games, and I think his absence has been noticeable. And he's not on injured reserve, so he can come back whenever he's ready. Unfortunately, there's still a litany of players who won't be returning. A.J. Brown still has 2 weeks left on injured reserve. Dupree still has 1 more game before he can come back. But Julio Jones, Jeremy McNichols, Nate Davis, David Long, Rashaan Evans, all those guys we could see return this week.
No doubt about it. How do you think the Titans are going to finish? What do you think their final record will be? Because the AFC is wide open. So I guess twofold question. Who do you think is going to have the number 1 seed in the AFC? So scramble and look at everybody's schedule real quick. And then where do you think the Titans are going to end up? No, just kidding.
Yeah, so the Titans are 8-4 right now, and their games left are Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Miami, and Houston. And, none of those teams are particularly great at the quarterback position. All of them have struggled to varying extents this season. And so there's no game left on the schedule where you're like, well, they're just going to get crushed. Like the Patriots game is probably their hardest opponent that they'll have for the rest of the season. So, 5 games left. I could see them finishing 11-6. I could see them going 3-2. I could also see them, going 4-1 and beating most of these teams. It's been weird because there have been so many instances of the Titans facing adversity, backs against the wall, and they rise to the occasion. But I just think they have perhaps gotten to a point over the last couple of weeks where they're just out of juice. Like, I'm all about next man up, and you have to have that mindset because, as Vrabel always says, it's a 100% injury rate in the NFL. Like, at a certain point, you just run out of people, and that's what's happening. So maybe the bye week gives them a reset. Those guys we just talked about, maybe some of them can come back and give them a bit of juice. But, I don't see any reason to panic and start, flipping tables and burning couches and acting like the season's over just because they lost 2 games in a row.
No doubt about it. We're with Luke Worsham with A to Z Sports. I guess I want to ask you, outside of the play and the losses the last 2 weeks, what do you think about the free agent signings that I know it's not the end of the season, but we got time to reflect here during the bye week of all the free agents that they've signed? Kind of give us your grade thus far and going through each player.
Well, so I think they hit a home run with Danico Autry. That I think is obvious. He's been really good for them. And it's for Autry, it's been less about what he has done individually, because he has had a couple of explosive games where he got multiple sacks. But he's opening things up, I think, for Jeffrey Simmons and for Harold Landry. And I think the same is true about Bud Dupree. I think it's probably been a disappointing year for Dupree, but I don't think it's been disappointing because of what he hasn't done when he's been out there. It's been disappointing because he hasn't been out there. When Dupree's been out there, it's not like he's some kind of pass-rushing phenom or anything, but when he's out there, it's a noticeable difference with this unit as a whole. Go back 3 or 4 weeks ago, all we could talk about was, man, this Titans pass rush, and they need a nickname, and are they the Tickle Monsters or the Broadway Bullies, right? We're not having those conversations anymore ever since Bud Dupree went down. It's because they're not getting sacks at the level that they were before that. So, it hadn't been a home run like I would say Autry has been, but I still think we need to let the pot simmer on that one. Jackrabbit Jenkins has just sort of been there. He's not been any kind of playmaker, but I also don't really think he's been a liability. He's just sort of, been a starting caliber player who you hope to not notice in a game. And you want a signing, but the Julio Jones trade, I think you have to say that's been disappointing so far because of the unavailability. We all expected Julio Jones to not be an everyday practicer, but I think we were expecting the payoff of that to be, he doesn't practice every day so that he plays at the end of the week. And what happened even before he was on IR was every week, is Julio going to practice on Wednesdays? Is he going to play this week? And, I hope that changes for them. I think maybe it can, but I don't know that there's going to be some kind of miracle where Julio Jones is now a week in and week out playmaker.
Now, what overall grade do you give it so far here at the bye week?
I give it a B-, because I think they did fill some needs, and I think without the guys they signed, they would be in a lot worse shape. So, I think a C would probably be offensive to what they were able to do, but it hadn't been, some kind of string of home runs either.
Well, with Luke Worsham with A to Z Sports.
Luke, you had written about this for A to Z. I think you'd done a primetime show. Maybe that was it. The 3 questions that will determine the Titans' fate this season. What are those 3 questions?
Yeah, this is what we talked about last night. I've been filling in for Buck all week on our primetime show. And last night we talked about, like you said, the 3 questions that I think will define the rest of the season. Question number 1 is, can the offense stop the turnovers? I don't really know what's happening there. It was a problem early in the season, and then it sort of subsided, and then it has exploded over the last 2 weeks with 9 turnovers in 2 games. You don't win games at any level of football, pee-wee, high school, whatever, when you turn the ball over 9 times in 2 games. So they've got to find a way to quit that, and it's coming in a lot of different ways. It's bad interceptions, it's fumbles, it's running the wrong route and setting the quarterback up to fail. They got to get that under control. So that's question 1. Question 2 is, can this defense get back to getting sacks? Because when this defense was getting sacks, they were playing at an extraordinarily high level, and they were fun to watch, and the secondary was flying around and able to make plays on the football. And over the last couple of weeks against the Texans and the Patriots, that pressure hadn't been there. And so I think they really need to get back to that if this team is going to finish strong. So that's question 2. Can the defense start getting sacks again? And question 3 is what we've been talking about already. Can they get some of these offensive weapons back? I'm less concerned about the defensive guys, although they are important. They need Bud Dupree back. They need David Long back. But this offense has got to get 1 or 2 of these guys back, whether that's Henry coming back at the end of the season or Julio Jones coming back this week, or A.J. Brown when he's eligible. They got to get some of these guys back because, you can beat the Jags with Des Fitzpatrick and Nick Westbrook, but when it gets to playoff time, and again, we're talking about the fate of this season, when you get to playoff time, you're not going toe-to-toe with Baltimore or Buffalo with this sort of, anemic group that they have on offense.
Luke Worsham, our guest, you actually asked Mike Vrabel earlier this week about the strength and conditioning staff, the training staff, and you could tell people exactly how you phrased the question, but he proceeded to basically say it's nothing that they're doing, that this is the responsibility of the players. But it was an interesting exchange based on the fact that they're literally setting modern football history with the number of injuries they've had.
Yeah, and we also talked about this last night on Prime Time because when there's a situation like this where there's such an influx of injuries, and like you said, they're setting these records, there's this tendency, and it's understandable, where you got to point a finger somewhere. And the sort of logical step that a lot of people feel like they're taking is, well, so many injuries, therefore it must mean the strength and conditioning staff, the trainers aren't doing their job. And I sort of presented that to Vrabel. Like, the way I asked it was sort of, I've seen fans making that connection. I wanted to almost say, like, can you explain why that doesn't check out? And I was thinking he would probably just sort of give, the canned line about I have the full confidence. But when he said, when I was a player, Vrabel, and I got hurt, I didn't get up from the turf and say, well, those darn trainers didn't have me prepared. It's just it doesn't really work like that. And so I think what you blame for the Titans' injury, maybe you look back at less springtime practices and not having a bye week until this late in the season with an added week in the schedule. But I think you just got to blame the game of football at the end of the day. And, Derrick Henry didn't break his foot because of what did or did not happen in the training room. I think we would all agree that Derrick Henry is perhaps one of the most prepared players in the entire NFL to withstand, playing this sport. And even he couldn't stand up to it. So I don't know that this is some kind of problem. It's also the same staff they've had for the last 4 years under Vrabel. So it's not like anything new is not happening, that did happen the first 3 years.
Sure. On with Luke Worsham at Luke_Worsham, A to Z Sports, no nonsense pod, talking Titans on Blaine and Mickey.
Regardless of what happens this year, Luke, this is looking out on the foresight of what may could happen after the season's over with. Do you think Julio Jones will be back with the team?
Do I think he comes back this season?
No, on the team after this season. Will he be on the team?
Well, yeah, I think he has to because you owe him a ton of money, and I'm not sure that there would be a whole lot of relief in getting rid of him after this year. I'm pulling it up right now just so that I can double check what the dead money would be. And yeah, if they were to cut him heading into next season, they'd still owe him over $13 million. So Julio Jones is here for the long haul.
So his contract was guaranteed?
Well, it looks like it, at least for the next couple of years. They can't really get out of this until, if they cut him in 2023, they would owe him $8.4 million still. So he's here for the long haul, whether he's healthy or not.
Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought they gave him cash cake with the first year of the deal, which is this year, up front, and then I didn't know how that impacted the rest of the season because you're not getting your bang for your buck. And I say that in mutual respect for Julio Jones. But what we start doing here from the media point of view, we look at their contracts and feel like that they should be on the team, but they're not producing. And, and that's what I get all the time. How can they be on the team if they're not producing? Because in any other situation, players are cut or pay cut, however you want to look at it, if they're not producing when you're a high-priced player. That's why Juan gets scrutinized. That's why Julio will. That's why Henry will. It just goes on. Tannehill will, who has got a huge number as well. So are we going to make exceptions to the rule to these players that are elite players but aren't staying healthy enough to stay on the field, and how do you get out of these deals?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks to me, just looking at this contract, like they've kind of made their bed and they're going to have to lie in it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, somebody
if you
made that bed.
and you're paying him anyway, you might as well pay him to play for you, right? If they cut him
Right,
next
right.
year, if they cut him in 2022, it's 13.2 million dead cap. That's obviously not good. A little better the year after that, 8.4, but I don't see how they get out of this until Julio's like 35. And with what we've seen this year, that's not great. Not great.
Yeah, thanks, Luke, for that one. All right, now, have they made their decision on actually how this rotation is going to work with Hilliard at running back and Foreman, and then now McNichols, I'm assuming, going to be coming back into the fold? Or do you think they're going to just keep this rotation going with those two guys and then maybe have McNichols the third down, or will they keep Hilliard there?
I think it's probably a rotation. You know, I don't know that either one of them has really separated himself from the other, because I think they've both had their moments. Hilliard had the big play on Sunday, right, the long touchdown run on the draw. But Deontay Foreman also, you know, broke off a long run. What they both had in common was they fumbled the football at the tail end of big runs on Sunday. But I think that until Henry gets back, it's going to be a committee because, you know, unless you have like one of the big dogs like a Henry, a Nick Chubb, a Christian McCaffrey, that's just sort of what you have to do. And I don't know that Hilliard or Foreman, you know, necessarily are terribly different in skill set. I know Hilliard is probably more equipped to catch the ball out of the backfield. But in terms of the ground game, like, you watch them run, and there's not a whole lot of difference. Like, they both run with physicality. You know, Foreman's much bigger than Hilliard, but I don't know that you're in the run game getting a whole lot of difference with one guy or the other. So they'll probably, I would imagine, just keep using both.
Luke, good stuff, man. Always appreciate the time with you at Luke_Worsham. People can follow you there anywhere they consume A to Z Sports or the No Nonsense podcast. Great job filling in for Buck today, buddy. We'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Luke.
Yes, sir. Piano playing, singing, sports report, and Luke
got
Worsham.
all kind of talents, man.
Well, I mean, you just don't know. That's just the way this town is. All right, when we come back, we're going to put the question out. How would you assign the Tannehill for the problems, the blame? How would you assign the blame for Ryan Tannehill's struggles between himself, his surrounding cast, and the coaching staff? Luke Worsham gave his percentages. We can share those again. John Glennon even talked about this yesterday. Get into that next. Call us. You got an opinion on this. 615-737-1045 on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline.
How many nasty waiting rooms have you walked into while waiting on your vehicle repair? It's like you don't want to sit down or touch anything because there's grease all over the place. Well, at Eurofix, you'll find luxurious waiting rooms with all the internet connectivity and refreshers you need in a safe environment. And Eurofix fixes everything European with an ASE certified technician, of course. And not all repair shops have ASE certified tech, so you better watch out and make sure an ASE certified tech is working on your vehicle. And Eurofix also offers a nationwide 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on all repairs and a free loaner card with those repairs. And you'll like this. No surprises. No work is done without your approval. And Eurofix also offers a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, and you can drop in with no appointment necessary. A former youth pastor and starting out with just $50 in tools, owner Aaron Stokes and his team have been repairing European vehicles for over 2 decades now. So if you want the best to work on your European vehicle, just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, Monday through Friday, or you can just check them out online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine sent you.
Now, a high school football scoreboard update. Presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office on 104.5 The Zone.
Day 2 of the Blue Cross Bowls in Chattanooga. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. In 3A, Alcoa wins 45-14 over East Nashville. They are state champs for a record 20th time, most ever in the state of Tennessee. Coming up later today in Division 1A, it's South Pittsburgh taking on McKenzie, kicking off here in about 10 minutes. D2 yesterday got us started. Lipscomb Academy, DCA, and McCauley are your private school champs. Drunk driving is the ultimate form of unsportsmanlike conduct. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday afternoon to you. Beautiful weather outside. My gosh, it's nice. Football Friday. The state championship games continue. Congratulations to all the young people who are taking part in that and their coaches and their families. What a cool thing. Win or lose, you played in the last game of the season. That's a remarkable feat. So congratulations to everybody and to all those cheerleaders cheering your last game and band playing your last game and football players playing your last game. Man, just take it in. Enjoy every second because there's nothing like it. So congrats again to everybody, all the teams across the state, and a special shout-out to all of our local teams compete for a state championship. Mm-hmm. So we are at T-Mobile, 3800 Hillsborough Road. Blaine Bishop has bought a giant hot dog from Daddy's Dogs in the parking lot.
Yeah, I just tweeted it out so everybody can see it. Yeah,
it's covered in bacon and barbecue sauce.
Bacon,
and
cheese,
hot dogs and
barbecue.
cheese?
Oh, man, that thing looks delicious. I'm about to destroy that at the top of the hour. I went and got it early. I got 5 minutes. Yeah, really 4 minutes and counting. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, you can come by. We're doing our toy field Tuesday at Nissan Stadium. That's every year. You guys bring unwrapped toys for kids who wouldn't get Christmas otherwise. We do that with the Salvation Army, their Forgotten Angels program. It's a fantastic thing. T-Mobile getting together with us on that, and Planet Fitness and Freedom Boat Rentals as well, thanks to all of them. But if you want to do this today, you can do it all the way up until 6 o'clock. If you've already got your toy, you live around here, you're in Green Hills shopping or whatever, or maybe you're just hearing us, you're in Green Hills shopping, grab the toy, bring it by. We've got a bin. You can drop it here with us today. And then that way, and then you can just come by Tuesday and visit with us. We want to see you Tuesday as well. We asked this question on the Blaine and Mickey Twitter account. I asked Luke Worsham. Blaine's like, we just need to put that out for everybody. Between these three factors, what percent of the blame do you assign to each for the cause of Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill's struggles this season? His fault, his surrounding cast, and coaching/scheme, I figure was the easiest way to say that. Ramon's nephew, John Johnson, is once again, he's an avid replier.
Quickly, too. He's quickly.
He's
he got us on alert.
He said 40% him, 50% cast, 10% coaching.
Ooh.
Luke Worsham, who's a beat writer and has been for the Titans for some time now, gave 45% his fault, 30% to the surrounding cast, and 25% to coaching. Boyd on Twitter just cut straight to the chase. He said it's the lack of his surrounding cast.
Yeah, and I'm a Tannehill guy. He has to have the highest percentage because he has the ball in his hand every time. So ultimately, it doesn't matter if the guys are getting open or not. Don't throw to him. Throw it low. There's always exceptions to the rule. So ultimately, he's got to be the 55 to 60, and everybody else is somewhere in between. He's the guy that pulls the trigger. Sorry, Charlie. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. We just went through, where his cap number is going to be and all those things. So, yeah, I think Tannehill, ultimately, those all factor in scheme, comfortability. I'm real big on that with chemistry with your receivers, and it hurts. It's just hard. But you got to do those things in practice and then go through them in the game and go over some guys and what you want to do. And then he missed some throws, too, just on his own. You can't say missing Chester Rogers was a missed throw. I mean, that was him. That was all day. That could have been a touchdown. The guy's open. I mean, wide open in NFL standards. Yeah. Wide open, and he overshot him. Now, it could be that maybe Chester Rogers should have ran it more outside. But, hey, you got to hit him. You got to find a way to hang it up there. When he's that open, let him figure it out and hang it up in the air. So I give it all more so to Tannehill, whatever that percentage may be. It's more than 50 to me. So Yeah, ultimately he's the trigger guy, and his numbers have bared it out. Nobody cares about oh, that was tip ball. Oh, he ran the wrong route. What are his interceptions to touchdown ratio? I'm sorry. And it started in the preseason, and he's kind of continued that. He's just been a little, let's say, a little too cautious to me at times, and then too aggressive other times, because now I think he's forcing it. He's trying to make it happen when it's not there, especially with some guys he's really not comfortable with. So ultimately, you get to Ferkser to me, and he should be the security blanket for him, and he's not. Yeah. And that hurts too.
Yeah, his disappearing act has been one of the oddest things I've seen.
Yeah. This happens all the time, and to me, it's when you are an undrafted player and you become a bigger role than they thought you ever could be. You maybe are probably what they thought you were, and that is just the route runner guy that comes in and not an every down tight end. That's just not his stick. Guess what? If he goes back, slims down, and runs his wiggle routes again, he'll dominate and be really that slash slot tight end guy. Only guys that get away with that are the 6'5", great athlete, first round guys. So he's found a way. So he's got to be able to pick it up now. He should be back into the flow and the rhythm of the offense after being injured earlier in the season. So it's really disappointing. And I told you tight end doesn't really matter. Well, they're 8-4, but he has to be more of a factor than that. We did see Jonnu, by the way. There was a sighting. He's a pretty good player.
Yeah, yes. For sure. Allan Bell's a pretty good player, too. He'll give you some best bets, and we'll talk about a bunch of stuff with him. Allan Bell coming up about 2:20 on the show is hour number 2 of Blaine and Mickey. Rolls on the T-Mobile store on Hillsborough Road in Green Hills, right here, 104.5 The Zone.
Good afternoon. I am Joe Hunk with your afternoon delights of news. Last night, the Preds took 2 L's. The first one was on the ice against the Bruins. They lost 2-0 at Bridgestone. Now, they're going to be playing tomorrow night at home against Montreal. The second L, all you got to do is just go look up their Winter Classic uniforms. It is going over smashingly with fans. Now, high school football is where our focus is because no Titans this weekend, no Vols, and so high school football is where it's at in Chattanooga. In the 3A state championship, Alcoa just defeated East Nashville 45-14. Now, coming up, matter of fact, as we speak, the 1A state championship is getting going where South Pittsburgh is taking on McKenzie. For all your foundation repair and all your waterproofing needs, go visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday to you. Great to have you with us on such a beautiful day. You can literally come and be with us. That's why, because for the second day in a row, we are out and about in the community, and we are at the T-Mobile store, 3800 Hillsboro Pike. Would love to have you come by here and visit us. There's lots of stuff going on. They're taking care of people's phones and they're, anything like that, but they're selling people Christmas presents because they got everything in the world that you need here. A great store, a great, friendly, and helpful staff. So if you need to do some Christmas shopping, this is the place to come by and take care of that business. Also, 3HL is going to be here today. Blaine and Mickey, we're here today for another hour. They've got Daddy's Dogs in the parking lot. So Blaine got a hot dog and literally inhaled it. It disappeared. Kirby is eating his hot dog with a knife and fork, which means he's a psychopath. We got multiple people in here eating a hot dog with a knife and fork. I'm really disappointed in all of you. Okay, we have psychopaths in here eating a hot dog with a knife and fork. I have no idea the people that I'm working with now.
I had it just in case I needed it, but definitely did not use it. I'm all in. Now my hands are all barbecue-y.
They're supposed to be. It's the way that's supposed to work.
Yeah, that's what I like. Then I want to lick my hands. Yeah.
Blaine also bought himself a giant Coke and a glass
Meanwhile,
bottle.
we got to hold this mic. Who's holding this mic next?
Ron.
It's going to be a little sticky.
Make Ron hold it.
It's going to be a little sticky.
That big rascal. Ron's always eating.
But Kirby always wipes them off anyway.
How many of those hot dogs do you think Ron Slade could eat? That
Oh,
big
no,
rascal.
that was pretty big, man. I had the last little corner that I had to, because the bread was thick. Yeah, 3?
You set the over-under at 3?
I'm at 3.
All right. The gauntlet is thrown down. We're probably going to hear from him in a minute. He's always listening. Tons of great and awesome deals from T-Mobile, your hometown network. Again, you can celebrate the holidays. New T-Mobile store, 3800 Hillsboro Pike is where we are. They'll sell you a hot dog and give you a knife and fork if you are so inclined. T-Mobile also teaming up with us for Toy Field next Tuesday. So that's December 7th, Nissan Stadium. T-Mobile, Planet Fitness, Freedom, boat rentals. You can come by. We'll be there all day. You can bring us unwrapped toys for the Salvation Army's Forgotten Angels program. If you got your toy already, you can drop that here today. And you can buy a giant hot dog and eat it with a knife and fork.
Yeah. And get some Apple, Samsung from T-Mobile. Whatever you need, they got it. Gadgets, too. I'm a gadget guy. No, you act like we getting some breaking news or something.
Now, Lucas just told me, I can't see you on your Zoom. That's because
I'm
having to look at things.
Well, open your eyes, Lucas.
Here I am, Lucas.
Just kidding.
Okay, Ron Slay has just texted me. He said 3 easily on a bad day.
Oh, wow.
Well, these hot dogs are like the size of a baby's forearm.
He needs to do an
Ron.
eating contest. Yeah, we got to get Slay in an eating contest, man. You know, the taller you are, the more you can eat.
He says, big rascal can scarf them. I'm telling you, these hot dogs are like the size of a baby's forearm.
It's the
There's
bread,
no way.
though. The bread is thick now. I was like, oh, man. Yeah. Had to go to my extra stretch long bite.
Hey, man, I didn't wear pants with a waistband for like 18 months during the COVID period.
Oh,
I put on jeans and was like, what is this confining garment that I've placed my body into? The sweatpants, shorts, same 4 T-shirts.
Yeah. Well, I'm all sweats.
All sweats all the time.
I don't like to be confined.
Allan Bell is going to join us in a few minutes. We'll call our shot at 2:45. There's a whole bunch of championship games because it's championship weekend. It's a couple of them tonight. Western Kentucky is playing for the Conference USA Championship tonight.
Oh.
Shout out to the Hilltoppers.
Yeah. And people want to call in. They want to give us their shot. They can call right on in right now.
Yeah, that's right. We'll take your calls. We'll take them in the last segment. We'll take them in this segment, 615-737-1045. This is the Friday of the Titans bye week. We had John Glennon on yesterday. We had Luke Worsham on with us earlier today. And what's interesting, Blaine, and you kind of brought this up Monday, Tuesday-ish, there are a lot of fans thinking, oh, everybody will come back from IR. That's not the case at all. No. And when they do start coming back, guys are just kind of trickling off of it. So it's only 2 guys that can come back. And the question for a bunch of Titans fans was, because now it's back up to 18 people on IR, for all the guys who could come back, was it 3 games or 3 weeks? It's 3 games.
It's 3
so
games.
This week means
doesn't count. It doesn't count as far as missing a game.
Doesn't count for anything. So as you said earlier this week, it's 2 guys that can come back next Sunday. Julio, which would be huge, and Dane Cruikshank. Like that's it. That's the list.
Where's Rashawn Evans? I mean, he never went on it, and he's missed like 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, it's maybe 5 weeks now. I can't even. Man, I don't even. I'm like, man, with David Long out, and then now Monty Rice, the sense of urgency has to ratchet it up a little bit. Yeah, I think you're gonna be good to go. Are you good to go? Yeah, you're good to go.
How you feeling?
Yeah, man. You've been off 5 weeks.
You should have loaned one of them your battery powered stem machine.
Oh. I think they have some better ones now. I'm sure, but that was hilarious when I found that. I was like, oh my God. And I'm not even gonna lie, it was 3 of them. I didn't want to put them all on.
Any of them still worked? You put one on just for old time's sake?
I did not put one on, but I wanted to see if it worked, so it definitely worked. Yeah, I was looking for something else, and it had me dying laughing. I couldn't believe it, man.
You got 3 of them. You could give one.
And then I just kept them after I was rehabbing something, maybe for a strain or something. I just kept them.
From Watterson. Hey, man, you've got to check those back in.
Yeah. Oh, Watterson was the best, man. Yeah. Yes, that's what everybody's saying. They need to hire Watterson. That's what everybody. It's the strength and conditioning. Hire Watterson back. Yeah, that's what they saying.
That dude is a legend.
Oh, he is a legend.
I mean, that dude is a Oilers legend.
He is. There's no doubt about it, man. You name it, he knows something about it, and he got the certificates behind him to say so too. By the way, so he knows something about everything, and I mean a lot.
So Julio and Dane Cruikshank could technically come back next week off IR. Derrick Henry could, but we're taking him out of the equation right now. The guys who aren't dealing with a broken bone, they're trying to come back from surgery. Julio and Dane Cruikshank. Then that's for Jacksonville. Then the next week it would be Bud Dupree for Pittsburgh, and then next it would be AJ for San Francisco. The point you made, though, is right. These were the guys who were inactive or missed Week 12 versus New England.
But they're just, let's clarify, only eligible. Doesn't mean that they're healed.
Right. But these guys aren't IR, so technically they could play when they came back. Jeremy McNichols missed the game. Greg Maben missed the game. David Long missed the game. Rashawn Evans missed the game. Nate Davis, Ola Adeni, and Tierre Tart. Here's another guy. Harold Landry played, but Mike Vrabel basically said earlier this week, hey, man, he just gave it everything he had. I think he played a season. Yeah, he played lowest snap total of the season.
Against New England?
Yeah, because we always he's on a pitch count. Ha, ha, ha. He actually was on a pitch count. He only played 41 snaps. Usually he plays all of them.
Well, yeah, but it's because he was injured, not because, when you're referencing he's on a pitch count, he wasn't before.
Right.
When they were saying, we're going to watch his numbers of snaps. Well, it wasn't. When there's an injury, now that's a totally different story.
And they had to play him just because they had bodies.
Yeah.
How crazy
and you
is
saw
that?
he's the difference in getting pressure, by the way, because they had none on pass rush most of the day versus New England. It perturbed me because all I kept thinking about as a DB, like, how long do you think I'm going to guard this dude? And they wasn't doing a good job of that. He was, come on, man. A rookie quarterback was just, that guy's good, man. Mac Jones, man. Jeez. They got to have a whole bunch of Fultons running around somewhere, man. They got to find those guys, get some guys healthy. They'll work with him on the offseason or something.
Well, the interesting thing is just the name of some of the guys that were like, boy, if only they could if only they could get that guy back, like Greg Maben, who came off the street and was starting and playing pretty well.
Yeah, he's playing solid.
Yeah.
I give him solid. I really am interested in seeing him in his long speed because he's got some length to him. I don't remember what happened. I mean, he was running on the go and just kept running through the end zone and just said, "Yep, nope." So I don't know what that means. We're always guessing on injuries. So I have no idea. They do a great job of, not telling you what the injuries are. So for competitive reasons. So yeah, they need him back. I mean, man, to me, a guy like that, this is your opportunity, man. Come on, you got to get right. Let's go. You trying to get a contract somewhere? Maybe with the Titans after this season.
Absolutely.
Man. I'm not, you know me. I get irritated with all these muscle injuries. I do. I did no. To me, and it's all on players. And it, accidents happen. I get it. But man, when it's all of this, no. Something's going on here.
Our guy Brett, who is sitting in for Lucas, tells us we've got 2 phone calls. We're up against the break. Here's what. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll go to the phones. We'll take both your phone calls, 615-737-1045. Then we'll bring in Allan Bell. Catch up on all the latest with him, Allan Bell from CBS Sportsline. So phones next, then Allan Bell, Friday edition of Blaine and Mickey Live from T-Mobile in beautiful Green Hills. We'll be right back. So here's one for all of you ladies and gentlemen who are out there who are dealing with hair loss. Well, it seems like there's this prevailing thought of doing nothing for some reason. So you don't like it. Nobody really likes it. But it's like, well, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Maybe you know somebody who had a bad experience with some weird medicine or some kind of barbaric procedure, 25 years ago, your uncle who got it. It's not that anymore. Matter of fact, it's great. PAI right here down the road in Brentwood. They're the leaders when it comes to helping you keep the hair that you have, which is something they can do, and getting back the hair that you've lost. So instead of doing nothing, do the ultimate something. Go to the place where people come from all over to go to. PAI, Michael Ramsey and his team, they've started something amazing. You can start right now. Go to WeGrowHair.com. That's their website. It's the easiest website in the world to remember, WeGrowHair.com. See all the great stuff that they offer, and then call them and make an appointment and just go experience all the great things that they offer and get all your hair back. Give yourself for Christmas the gift of your own hair back. Call PAI today, 615-376-6010.
High school football scoreboard update. Presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office on 104.5 The Zone.
Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. Day 2 of the Blue Cross Bowls in Chattanooga. Earlier today, it was Alcoa taking the 3A title for the 7th straight year, a 45-14 final over East Nashville. Quarterback Caden Buckles, the MVP, with 4 total touchdowns. In progress in 1A, it's South Pittsburgh and McKenzie, still in the first half and still scoreless. And later this afternoon, a 2 p.m. Central kickoff between Powell and the Page Patriots. There's no need to consult the playbook. The winning strategy is to always designate a sober driver. Fans, don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Hopefully everybody's having a great Friday. We're at T-Mobile, 3800 Hillsborough Road, right across from the Green Hills Mall, right across. Literally, I can see the Carrabba's sign. If that kind of puts your orientation in place. They used to sell burritos in this place, but the burritos moved on. Now you get the great T-Mobile service products here. You definitely want to get those. Allan Bell is going to join us in a few minutes, but we asked for phone calls, and we love it. This has been the best week for phone calls I think we've ever had. And people keep calling in with great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do this. We got Chuck, and then we got Rick. Let's get Chuck in Clarksville.
Chuck Diesel.
Chuck D. Let's get him in from Clarksville. Hey. Chuck, what's going on?
What's going on, Chuck?
Hey, guys. How are you today?
Hey, we're doing awesome, man. We're talking to you, man. What you talking about? We're having fun.
Hey, listen, what's the deal with all the injured players? We have a safe house somewhere that Vrabel has gotten from the CIA or somewhere that we keep all of our players, and they sign these like Trump organization NDAs or something that they can't talk about anything. I mean, it seems like we've got U.S. Marshals or FBI guys that monitor everything going on so that none of these players ever divulge anything about what's going on with them. I mean, it's the most secretive organization I've seen since one of the black site deals.
Well, Chuck, I don't know about that. I mean, it's pretty typical not to talk about injuries. That's why it's a big deal. Like when A.J. Brown last year put on his own social media that he was getting, his knees cleaned out or whatever. People were like, oh, no one would have known.
But he wasn't missing any games, though.
No, he played through.
Right. Well, so there was no information out there why people were curious why he wasn't playing.
Sure.
So I would say more so, some of the guys I think they're more open to having conversation about, but other ones I think that is kind of weekly or daily. They don't want to have too much conversation. That's kind of, normal around the league. I think, the Titans, maybe it's more Vrabel, is more protective of his players for, being a former player.
Hockey might be the craziest sport, though, because let's just say upper body or lower body. You get your tooth knocked out or concussion, it's upper body.
I think the Titans, the NFL should do that, but they don't want to feel like they're copying the hockey. I think they should do that because that's about as secretive as it already. Upper body. Well, that could be your head, neck. It could be your ear, nose.
It could be anything.
Elbow.
But
shoulder,
they don't support gambling, but they tell everybody exactly who's injured and how much and if they're going to play or not.
Right. Well, they really support gambling now.
They're in bed with it.
Yeah, they're in bed with it now. They threw that out the window when they start putting that money out there. How much they can make?
Isn't that funny?
Oh man, who was it? It was the play. Was it Drew Brees? Who was the quarterback that was trying to advertise or something? It's like literally 2 years ago. Oh man, it was. Yeah, I want to say it was Drew Brees. And I'm almost positive. Yeah, they wouldn't let him do it. And I think they might have reprimanded him to a certain extent, maybe. Like, fine.
And now it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Just let them advertise. We got Rick in Hendersonville up next. Rick, thanks for calling Blaine and Mickey on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline.
Hey, Blaine, I am so excited that you brought up Steve Watterson. I have called, I think, every sports talk show for the past 3 months wanting to know what actually happened there. Watterson has been with the Titans since they were the Oilers. Everybody loved him. I have never seen this many soft tissue injuries in the history of the Titans. And from what I had heard, and it's like Worsham said, oh, this is Vrabel's training staff. He has the utmost confidence in them. They've been with him for 4 years. Yeah, what happened to Watterson? I had heard there was a difference of opinions. In Blaine, if anybody knows, you would.
Well, I don't get any information, I guess, or inside information. I try to stay close to the vest so I can give my own opinion. I would just say, Vrabel, just like most coaches, want to bring in his guys. Watterson's no exception to the rule, whether, training staff to, none of the guys are there that were there when I was there. So it's always, at a certain point, time for changeover. But we have consistency at the training staff and strength and conditioning. That's always a really good thing. But they've been there for 4 years. So this is kind of abnormal year. So I'm sure some of it's on the players. They have to take ownership in that, as well as, making sure the strength and conditioning are making sure that they're doing the right things. I'm sure they do even weekly now that they've had all these injuries about what are they doing that is helping or hurting this whole situation with all the injuries, because that's what you have to do. That's what good organizations do. Not to point the finger at anybody, because at the end of the day, you're all trying to go in the same direction. And you're trying to win and trying to make sure these guys are available, because ultimately this is their career and this is how they're going to make money. And, you only have one shot at this thing. So, it's not like they don't want Julio out there. But, hey, man, what are we doing? Is it just a more personal deal with him and then all the other situations? So I'm sure all of them, their own individual cases. But, hey, I love Watterson and all of the, training staff guys that they've had over the years. But Watterson, man, he was the best. So that's all I really knew.
And
I learned a lot too, by the way. I was one of those guys that learn and try to figure out what I can do to make myself better. And he helped me with that process.
And to have a resource like that had to be a great thing. If you're trying to get better in whatever way he can help you. And he's like, I can help you. I can help you get better.
Yeah. Well, you just go look at his name. He's got all these degrees and certificates, at high levels. So he knows the body pretty much up and down. Yeah, so that, it's a sense of security, but, every organization goes through change. Now we're talking about, 4 years in. So what has the training staff done differently the 3 years previous? Well, they didn't have this issue. Right. So it's not the training staff. It's a culmination of a lot of things. And at the end of the day, the players need to make sure that they're taking care of their bodies. So they don't know what they're doing when they leave the training staff. They don't know when they leave the facility. I have no idea. So I would say more so on the players than the actual strength and conditioning and training staff, for sure. All they do is treat the injuries and try to prevent the injuries. But at the end of the day, it's your body. You're not available. Guess what? You're going to be sitting at home on that couch. No checks come in the NFL when you're sitting at the couch and not on the team. It's not like, NHL or Major League Baseball or the NBA. They getting paid regardless. There's no can do in the NFL. Availability means you get paid.
And that's, we've talked about this before. Think about all the amazing players who came through the league who couldn't stay available. And then dudes you've never heard of from schools you've never heard of, and they play 10 years because that dude can play every week.
Now, don't get me wrong. Now, you're in a contract this year, but I'm talking about if you get cut because you keep being unavailable.
Sure.
And you're not getting a check. I don't care what your contract says. So, yeah, and they're still winning. That's why I tipped the cap to Vrabel and his staff. And even JR, to a certain extent, bringing these guys in who were sitting on the couch or were on the practice squad, and they still keep them in tune. They're smart football players that are just waiting for their turn and their chance. And they're holding up. They're solid. So some of these guys, some of these guys are going to be in the league next year, whether they're on the Titans or not. Hilliard has some juice that none of the running backs have. Yeah, he's got some vertical speed, and he hits the hole faster than any of those guys. So yeah, he's going to be somewhere. Because man, you can see that he's a squirt now. Boom, and then then it's too late. Now you got to figure out how you're going to catch him.
It's hard to catch Allan Bell, but I think we just did it. He's on the phone with us now at Allan Bell 247.
Nice.
He's with CBS Sportsline. Allan, we haven't even talked about this today, but I wanted to bring you in with this question. Have you thought about just doing every one of your radio appearances, no matter where you call in an accent that you feel like matches the accent of the people that you're talking to, like your man Brian Kelly did at the LSU basketball game last night, which is the worst thing I've ever seen.
That was horrible.
My man,
man.
I happen to be here.
Oh man, what's the odds he's gonna get fired literally in the next 3 years?
My favorite part. All right, first off, man, it's good to talk to you guys. I miss y'all so much. It was hilarious. Yeah, man, it was hilarious because it was like everybody was talking about like the different Southern accent. Like people were like from Foghorn Leghorn. You know what I mean? To like just from like Boomhauer at King of the Hill. Like I can't believe my man in one day picked up the Southern accent like that. It was that was too funny.
Oh man, no, wait, that shows. I hope it's not true that he's more of a salesman than an X's and O's guy, because he's going to run into some serious trouble there in Louisiana. He's going to be like, hey, Gumbo, what is that? Head too far.
I know. Yeah, I was thinking, I was like,
the head of that thing. Yeah.
Like I was laughing. I was like, he's gonna like a mom of a recruit's gonna like feed him gumbo, and he's gonna be like, hey, these are great hot dogs in here, and people just kick him out of the room like, you're done, man.
I just think he's gonna be like, do you have a restroom, ma'am? Allan Bell, our man, here with us. All right, of all the coaching things that have happened so far, of Lincoln Riley or Kelly going to LSU. If you go to Vegas, which one of those has been the biggest surprise to Vegas as far as which one of those guys got a job and where?
Napier too.
Yeah, Napier to
Florida.
Yeah,
it's a great question because it was Lincoln Riley, right? Because we didn't really expect it, but you started kind of hearing things that maybe he was interested in Florida, and it kind of sat there for about 72 hours. All right, Brian Kelly came out of nowhere. Like no one leaves Notre Dame. I think this is the first time anyone's ever left Notre Dame for another job, right? So Lincoln Riley definitely got the initial surge, but Brian Kelly's going to be the focus because, like you just said, and Blaine, like you were talking about, like this is a culture, maybe a misfit, who knows? But the only thing about it is this, is you look at Brian Kelly at Cincinnati and Notre Dame, not only has he been successful, he's their winningest coaches of all time. Like, whatever he does, it works. Like, I got to give him credit on that. I'm not saying for titles, but my man stacks up wins. So I'm fascinated to see it. I can't wait to see how this goes down.
I declare Allan Bell is our guest from Sportsline on Blaine and Mickey.
There you go.
That was so good.
Oh my, that was absolutely horrible, man. I'm so disappointed in him. But anyway, we're on with Allan Bell, man. Allan, man, what do you think about the Marcus Freeman deal? Because I don't even know if they interviewed a lot of candidates, and did they rush to the decision? Not to say that he's not qualified, but because they may think it's going to hurt them, for a bowl bid, not knowing how it's all going to play out, or a Final Four playoff bid with them being on a bye, not playing.
Yeah. So let me say this. I thought it was brilliant, and I'll tell you why. Because I always, and Blaine, you know this better than anybody in the world, in a locker room, like I'm all for let's push who everybody rallies around. And you can see it with Notre Dame. Look, how many assistants left enjoying Brian Kelly? None of them, right? Because everybody loves Freeman up there, right? So I think that you're going to get the players rallying around him. He's already one of the best recruiters in the country, all right? And you've kept intact the entire coaching staff. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and you're Notre Dame, and you could go out the next cycle and go get whoever you want because you're Notre Dame. But I will always rally around guys that everyone in the locker room loves. So I thought it was a brilliant hire. I would have absolutely done the same. It was a smart move.
Well, who is your brilliant front runners for the Final Four? What's Vegas saying, and then what is my man, the real AB, saying?
Yeah, so you're going to get, you're going to get Georgia, you're going to get Cincinnati that are up there, okay? Now, the question is how much craziness do we get tomorrow, okay? Does Alabama beat Georgia? Yeah, and, not that would take Georgia out of it, But now Alabama's in the equation, right? What happens? Does Cincinnati lose to Houston? What do we do with Michigan, right? Like, I think that's where we're at. So, man, it's difficult to project. But to be quite honest with you, I think we're going to go pretty chalk here. I think what we think is going to happen and the favorites out there tomorrow, like, that's who we're going to get. I don't think that we really get any upsets.
Oh, man, so you think the Final Four then is going to be Georgia, Michigan, Cincy, and who?
Man, it's tough. It is really – it's tough, man. Like, it's
Are you going to Oklahoma
difficult.
State? Cincy loses to
Notre
H-Town?
Dame with the
Notre
I don't
Dame
think-
coach.
Yeah, like, I don't think that Oklahoma State loses either, right, against Baylor. Like, okay, if I've got to do it, I'm going to go Georgia, Cincinnati, Michigan, Oklahoma State. Give me those four. I'll roll with those four.
Whoa. Okay, well, I'm about to ask you this question. It doesn't matter about the record. Oklahoma State and Cincinnati both can beat Alabama. If there were some odds, you know Vegas better than anybody, AB.
Yeah.
Would Vegas have
here's what
Alabama favorite over them?
They would. It would be 2.5 Alabama in probably both games. Yeah. They would have Alabama favorite. I think, and this is kind of what I'm thinking with this, with the committee, I think that there's going to be Alabama fatigue because they're so good every year and they're always there, that if they lose to Georgia, like, it gives them the excuse to get them out, right? Like, just for this year to get them out. If Cincinnati loses, though, anything is on the board. Anything. But if Cincinnati wins, they're going to be in. And Alabama loses, they will be out. So Alabama might be a better team than those two. But if they lose to Georgia, they're not going to put them in.
Well, with Allan Bell, the best in the business at Vegas.
Hey, I saw your tweet, Allan, about the Titans. Because people are saying, gosh, can they still get the number one seed in the AFC? And you laid out a scenario which, like, just worry about winning the South and getting the playoffs. Try to buy yourself essentially a second bye week, a rest game in Week 18. Is that the scenario you laid out?
Oh, yeah, I would love that. Like, if I were a player, a coach, anybody, around the Titans. And, Blaine, I'd love to hear your opinion on it, being a former player. Like, yeah, the number one seed in the playoffs is always good. But this year, I don't think that home field advantage necessarily matters all that terribly much. Like, I would more focus on getting this team healthy because I think that they can win against anyone, anywhere, at any time if they're healthy. So if they can secure the AFC South, get to Week 18 against Houston where the game doesn't matter, and you can essentially manufacture yourself another bye week, I think that would go far for this team. So, yeah, and, the number one seed, it works itself out. If you win the games, hey, it's going to happen. But I would focus on just winning the AFC South and earning yourself another bye so that this team walks right into the playoffs healthy, fresh, ready to go.
Hey, did you have the Grizzlies by 72.5 last night? Did you take that one?
I had a minus 73.5 loss. No. How crazy is that? My favorite part, at the end of that game, there's 2 minutes left. They're up by $6 trillion. And you've got Grizzlies fans going, defense, like chanting in the stands. It was hilarious. It was a really funny move on their part.
And that's one of those things. How many people just on a given day would have put anything on that particular game, especially with no Ja? I mean, I guess some sharps might have thought, gosh, no Ja Morant, let's make a little money off of the Thunder who had been on the downslide, but, maybe they can get Memphis. Man, Memphis is, 3-0 without Ja Morant and literally just set an NBA record.
It's crazy, right? Like, and I'll tell you, my luck. All right, so, like, I'm sure everybody has it, like your group text with your buddies and, everybody that you talk to. Like, in mine, I would have been sending it and, like, telling my buddy Randall, like, hey, bet on the Thunder. They're going to cover, no problem, lock of the century, and then I would never live it down. Like, I want to know all those stories of everybody today that's just getting roasted in group text that were saying, yeah, Oklahoma City, they're going to cover, no worries about it whatsoever.
No, I'm sure you'll probably get those because you always have the greatest tweets ever. at Allan Bell 24/7, CBS Sportsline. That's where you can find him.
No doubt about it. Well, let's get into the NFL. Which game, I guess, I'm looking at? The Bills versus the Pats, man. Who's favored in this one? Because who you betting on? Because I really like this game. I think, man, who comes out of this has a great shot, even steal the Bills at this point for being the number 1 seed.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Look, and we sit right now. The Bills are a 3-point favorite over the Patriots at home.
Oh.
But understand this, man.
That's
The
even.
last 4 games for the Patriots, okay, have been the exact same formula, all right? They played the Panthers, no Christian McCaffrey, out with an injury. Patriots took care of business. Next game, Browns, no running backs whatsoever for COVID. Patriots took care of business. Falcons, no Cordell Patterson, no run game. Patriots take care of business. Titans, all the running backs are injured, come in. Patriots take care of business. Like, it's the exact same formula. And you look at the Buffalo Bills, they have no run game. Now, they either win by 30 or lose by 30, so it's tough to bet with Buffalo. But you look at New England, they are the most balanced team in the NFL right now. And I'll give you a little nugget right here, too. The last 4 games for the Patriots, in the second half, they have outscored opponents 63-0. Teams haven't scored a point on them in the second half in 4 straight games. So I'm going to roll with the Patriots +3. They might lose, but I don't think so, man. Like, this formula has been working for New England.
Well, I'm looking at the Rams. Man, they got a tough schedule. They've lost 3 in a row, man. They may slide out of the playoff race. What do you think?
Man, you know what, Blaine? And it's crazy because, look, you know defense better than anybody. That defense is soft, man. Like, the team is soft. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the Titans proved it. Like, I think when the Titans went in there and just punched it in the mouth, like, the Rams had nothing for it, right? Like, I it's hard to bet on them because if you just jump on them early, man, like, they just don't have an answer. So it's just a really confusing team. And then you're looking at them this week with such a large spread. I can't do it. Like, I can't lay my money on them. I mean, they'll probably win, likely win, should win. But there's just no way that I can lay 13 points with them because I don't trust either side of the ball.
Man. Well, one more question. We're on Allan Bell, CBS Sportsline. What's going to happen? Got to ask you a baseball question. I know you're all over it. When will the lockout end? Or will it?
Well, I'll say this. The lockout will end. Yeah, the lockout will end about 1 day before the season starts, right? Like, that's how baseball operates.
What was the last lockout, 1990 or so? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, like, I can't remember. Like, it was somewhere around there, right? Baseball, man, like, they kill me. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, they could be so much better. And it's just like every time they have an opportunity, like, they shoot themselves in both feet. Like, not just one. They make sure to clip both of them off. It's just craziness to me, man. I can't believe it.
Well, I can't imagine running without your feet.
It's a little tough, my man. It's a little tough.
Major League Baseball leads the free world in self-sabotaging behavior. Nobody does it like them. Allan, you never self-sabotage. You're the best. Always great catching up with you, man. Thanks for the time today, buddy. Happy Friday. Enjoy this weekend of games.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, you guys as well, man. Miss you. I'll talk to you soon.
Allan Bell, the absolute best. He's an unbelievable Twitter follow at Allan Bell 247.
Entertaining.
The best. All right, when we come back, time to call our shot. Let's get you on the line, 615-737-1045. There's a bunch of games. There's a lot going on. Time to call our shot, courtesy of Chattanooga Whiskey. We'll do that next.
Yeah.
Now, a high school football scoreboard update. Presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office on 104.5 The Zone.
Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. At the end of the first quarter in the 1A state championship in Chattanooga, Tennessee, it is McKenzie on top of South Pittsburgh, 14-0. The 3A Blue Cross Bowl champ from earlier today, Alcoa, wins its 20th state title, a 45-14 win over East Nashville. Later today, at 2 p.m. Central kickoff, Powell and Page will battle it out in 5A. Blue Cross Bowl champs from Thursday in Division II, Lipscomb Academy, DCA, and McCauley bring it home. Designated drivers are the real MVP. If you've been drinking, pass your keys to a sober friend. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you, fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone, T-Mobile, 3800 Hillsborough Road, 3HL. Those guys are out in the parking lot getting all ready to come in and do the show. They're doing their side straddle hops and chopping wood. They're getting ready, doing all their calisthenics, getting ready to be here today until 6 o'clock. You can see Kirby and Christian. They're both here working for The Zone. You can get a hot dog from Daddy's Dogs, which many people have done, and they look fantastic. You can also bring a toy for our toy field next Tuesday again. December 7th, all day, Nissan Stadium, T-Mobile, and Planet Fitness and Freedom Boat Rentals helping us out with that. If you want more information about Toy Field, come by, just talk to somebody, or go to 1045thezone.com. It's time now to call our shot. We do this every week, last day of the week, typically on Friday. Brought to you by Chattanooga Whiskey, available at your favorite Nashville retail store. Drink Chattanooga Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. I know we've got Christian who's sitting in for Lucas. Christian, we always ask Lucas to call his shot. Not Christian. I'm looking at Christian. We have Brett back there producing. I'm looking at Christian and thinking of Brett. Brett Batchelor producing today, our league golf analyst on The Zone.
Who's a bachelor?
I think he is about. He may not be. So let's hear it. Who is or what is your shot for this week, Brett? We're going to put you on the spot.
So 2 weeks ago, if you remember, the Utah Utes completely boat raced the Oregon Ducks.
Yes,
and now they're
at night.
facing – yes, at night. Now they're facing off against each other again tonight in the Pac-12 Championship, 7 o'clock kick on ABC. I'm going with the upset again. Utah will beat Oregon and win the Pac-12 Championship.
Ooh, 2 times in a row?
Oh, he's sucking up to Dyson, our resident Utah Ute.
Oh, man.
Dr. Dyson.
Dang.
I also went to Utah. I went to Utah over the summer as well and really enjoyed it. So it's kind of an enjoyment. But I do think they're a good football team. So Utah over Oregon to win the Pac-12.
Wow. Out of left field there. From the
Beat
West
them
Coast.
twice. And like you said, they beat the brakes off of
They
them
did.
a couple of weeks ago.
They're not physical. That's what Dr. Smooth said.
And supposedly Cristobal in the mix at Miami if things don't get if things
Because
don't go right.
they're trying to hire an AD first, right?
Yes, but if the AD comes in and wants to clean house, so there's been some exciting parking jobs here in T-Mobile.
some
that
really
people have
close.
just squeezed in. We've gasped a couple of times.
I thought somebody was going to hit the building. The glass building right there in the front. Like, wow. Uh-oh, there he is.
Oh.
Dome.
Only one hot dog, though. I feel like he's falling down on the job.
He said that's
Ron
an
Slade.
appetizer. That's an appetizer. He had a big
Come
break.
on, man. You had a big everything.
And the mayor all the way from Chattanooga. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, congrats to his son Connor and CPA on a great football season.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, he got dessert.
Did you get those from those people, or did you just have them in your pocket?
No, he keeps some form of sugar on him or around him all the time. Sugar is always close.
I told him Sierra used to work with us, and her dad is like in charge of Little Debbie. Remember that? She used to bring these big boxes of Little Debbie stuff that you couldn't even get online or anywhere.
Yeah. He said
Sierra
you need the number.
Yeah.
Just for the brownies, though. Just for the brownies.
Yeah, Sierra. Shout out to our former coworker, Sierra, whose dad drove around a giant trailer full of Little Debbie's.
Yeah.
I would call my shot that I would eat all of them if they were here, but she's not here.
Okay. So what is your shot?
I have gone back and forth all day on
Me too.
Bama or Georgia because I want to call a shot in that game. I mean, the blueprint's there. If you're Derek Mason and you got one more down of zone in you, or if you just playing some quarters or something, or if one guy can just fall down in bounds, you could have beaten them Auburn. So what in the world can this Georgia defense do then?
Ooh.
Can they just completely shut them down?
Shut them down? I don't know about shut them down, but I think Georgia's going to win. But I do love drama. I learned this all from the mayor. You want chaos? He loves chaos. So if Alabama wins, guess what? 2 SEC teams get in. So I like to see that because then you can quiet all the noise. But I think Georgia's they just look that good, consistent throughout. And, man, when they played UT and I watched them really close, that's how an NFL team would look like against that kind of style offense if it was in the NFL. Guys are just too talented, man. They're more talented than Alabama. I think this may be the only year I could say that. And, by the way, they got a backup quarterback. If something goes wrong, they can put out there and start slinging it around. Yeah, so, I got to go Georgia. But my upset, I mean, it's not an upset. It's no actual game. Surprise pick of who's going to win the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Oh, yeah. You got weeks. You got a few weeks for this to work out.
I'm calling my shot right now.
Up the chair. Okay.
Yep.
What we got?
The fumbling, bumbling Bengals is going to be the number 1 seed of the AFC. They can run the football. They can throw the football. They have great pass rushers. They have the recipe to win the number 1 seed in the AFC. I don't even know where they rank right now. I just watched them. I said, this team, if they look like this, only team, then naturally the Chiefs and the Bills. But until Henry gets back, the Titans are not there yet. So I think they're going to slide down until they get everything right. And hopefully it times up perfect. 5th. Bengals are 5th. Hopefully the Titans get it all put together by the end of the season. Everybody gets healthy. But right now, they're not there.
JB on Twitter says, I'm calling my shot. Baylor and Bama will win.
Ooh.
He's going with the B&B. Baylor and Bama for JB. Appreciate the participation there, JB.
Whoa.
This is it for Georgia. If you can't win this one, this is your year. You got to win this. You got an NFL defense. You got 2 quarterbacks, and you're playing the one that's not going to play in the NFL, winning games and scoring a bunch of points with him. You haven't given up more than 17 all year. Georgia, it's your time. You got to win.
Got to go.
That music means we got to go. Hey, come by. 3HL is here. Ron is eating his hot dog. The mayor is here. T-Mobile, they'll take great care of you. Bring a toy by. Toy Field coming up next Tuesday. Yeah. Beautiful Friday.
Yeah, Kirby shut me off, man. Boom. Oh, man, my picture went away. Gone. Yep. In between time. Today is Friday, Kirby. And that means we about to be, you know what? Gone. So, in other words, bye and peace.